It's been a long day here for the players, but it is one final match to go before we find the 16 players who will compete on day 2 as they get their chance to fight for the DreamHack star and their chance to possibly qualify for the global playoffs at the end of the year. Getting exciting now. Who's going to win this last one? Thanks to our big sponsors, of course, Zowie, Razer. I love Razer. G2A, Monster Energy.
I love Razer. I just love them, you know.
And Alienware. Welcome back to the desk, everybody. I'm always in a very light spirit, so I'm happy you guys are here with me to enjoy this last game. Artosis,
really stoked to be here with you for this last game and your light spirit as well. And of course, Todd.
Todd's here too. Yeah.
Loving these segments with you guys.
Yeah, no, it's really fun.
How have you enjoyed your 5-day GSL in one day today?
It's been great, man. We've had a lot of really different, really exciting games, so I'm loving it.
You've casted more today
Cases has been on
for
fire
months
today.
in Korea.
Yes.
This is the most work he's ever done.
I have done everything. I have seen all at this point in time. And we're going to see one more tonight.
1,000 years old. You are the Deku Tree.
I am older than the Deku Tree, Artosis. I have aged and changed so much since the start of this morning. So.
Interestingly, Jim went through, of all people. So looking at what we were talking about before that match started, to quote Roddy, I watched Jim 6 weeks ago and he was utterly crap. And now he's moved forward through to the next stage, to the round of 16, defeating Harstam, who is a WCS circuit champion.
Yeah. And actually over on the other stream, like Elaser versus Shy was super close, went to game 5. Elaser did win, but these Chinese players really stepped it up for this event.
Yeah, and good for them. Move through to the round of 16.
Jim did, because I also got thrilled by Thermal.
Well, yeah. the other Chinese players, the IG players, they stepped it up.
And that leads us into the bracket then. So we have quite a mix of races, a mix of nationalities now through to the round of 16, and some pretty awesome matchups to be had tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be covering half of the round of 16 games on this stream and the other half on the second stream. So it's going to be a big and fun day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Looking at that though, some beauties, as we'd say.
Some beauts.
Hydra, man.
Some beauts.
Some beauts.
Yeah, it looks like the B stream has Violet versus Jim Rising going on. So
Yes.
ZvZ over there, guys. You can definitely check that out as well.
And
but
that leads us
Tasus and I
to
are over
our
here,
one.
so probably you won't.
Turn that stream on and mute it, guys.
FireCake versus Scarlett, the last remaining French player, as all of them, unfortunately, have been knocked out in the round of 32 in front of their French
That's right. Todd
audience.
is going to be here all weekend, so
Yes.
that's really the only French player that we really need at the end.
And
right?
also,
That's right.
You're so sweet.
Hey, Tasteless,
Yes.
where were you born?
In, you want me to try to say it? Grenoble?
Grenoble.
Grenoble. Yeah.
Where's
I was.
Grenoble?
It's somewhere in France.
Does that mean you can't be president?
Yeah, I guess I can't. Unless
That
it's the
sucks.
president of esports, guys.
Yeah, that you can be,
Yeah.
actually.
No,
Unanimous, yes.
You
unanimous.
definitely look the job, all right?
Or maybe just king of esports instead, okay? King! The one true king.
So, of course, you guys been in Korea for a long time. Not nearly as long as you. Scarlett's been there for the last couple of months.
Yes, she has.
Yeah,
and
she's
she's
been training hard,
over there.
really hard.
Yeah, I think that she's like actually favored over FireCake. Like, I think that living in Korea, getting why you guys don't think she's favored?
Yeah, I know, I agree.
I don't think that's how you say his name.
FireCake?
No, it's the thing you eat, cake.
Cake.
You don't eat
Kake?
fire. What? That doesn't hurt.
You know, like the shots that you light on fire, like B-52, I think it's called. It's the same thing with the cake. Yeah, you just put a cake on fire and then you eat it. That's his nickname.
We got to get out of here, guys. We've gone too deep down the rabbit hole. I don't know if we can turn it around now.
Todd's by himself.
I mean, I think that Scarlett actually has the edge here.
Yeah, I agree.
There was a good run by him at DreamHack Austin, but Scarlett, she's been living in Korea, practicing in Korea, and that's the best practice you can get. She was super high on the Korean ladder.
Yeah.
Did reasonably well in the qualifiers, but no foreigner has ever qualified for Code A, so she didn't either, unfortunately. But still, I think
that's
she's
a very good point, but still, I'm going to have to say that you're completely wrong, because FireCake historically in ZvZ has always been really strong and posted big results, even sometimes against some Korean Zerg. So I think it was like he beat like guys like True and stuff when they were coming over to Europe and were in very good shape, like always going deep in this tournament.
Yeah.
So,
But do you feel like FireCake has the right mentality right now coming into this? Because Scarlett's looking very calm and very confident. We'll be able to talk to her backstage.
I mean, I've seen her look very calm before and still kind of lose early in the tournament. Like I don't know if it means that much. Like
It's all about who wants it more, guys. Okay, that's what we need to get through here as analysts. But
You know, yeah, FireCake, definitely he's very strong in ZvZ, but I feel like he's kind of stubborn. Like, he might open with a quick pull one game out of these 5, but then he won't even really all in with it. He'll just be like, okay, time to macro, and you just macro. You know?
FireCake, he's definitely capable, like both players, I feel like it applies to both. They're capable of brilliant things, but at the same time, they kind of can lose to anybody, and I think that's also, in a way, like I don't want to be, you know, very overly negative for Massa, but in Austin, FireCake beat Pulse.
Yeah.
And then everybody was like,
that
what
was
the
pretty
hell?
crazy.
What's going on here? But then he lost to Massa, which sure, like Massa played very well, but after you beat Pulse, surely you should be favored against almost any Terran left in the tournament, right?
yeah, for sure.
So,
What do you think about, is there things that, I know this, you know, GSL Star League, Pro League over there, but is there things that Scarlett's going to know slightly different in the current meta in ZvZ Zerg than FireCake will over here?
I would definitely say the meta is somewhat different.
You're also coming back and playing in a different meta too, so some of the stuff that you know might not be as applicable as well. So,
well, there are definitely some VODs to study from, maybe from both players, in particular, maybe of FireCake, who is maybe a little bit more active with tournaments.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, did you guys pick up on anything on ZvZ over in Korea? If it's played differently from what you think?
It's like pretty similar overall. I think that over here we do see like
Zergling baiting roaches?
yeah, it could be a little bit more aggro
like
down
they
here.
make roaches in both locations. It's the weirdest thing. But no, I mean, I feel like almost roaches get a little bit overmade by some of the players here. Like they stay on it a little bit too long, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, one thing about FireCake, if it goes up to like a longer game, a macro game with like 3 base, sometimes 4 base, and even if he has to go into Hive, I think he's one of the best Zergs out there. I'm just gonna, you know, get it out, and for you guys to know, like you need to watch out for this guy if it goes into a longer game like this.
Well, here are the map vetoes. FireCake got rid of...
If Scarlett was French, who do you think would win this?
Ooh, that's a really good question, actually.
I think it's irrelevant.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, my bad.
Sorry.
What did you expect me to say?
I don't know. Probably just say FireCake. Yeah.
I think
That's
a lot
what I
of...
was expecting, but I mean...
I think a lot of people are going to, that are watching online and back at home, are going to be fully behind Scarlett here.
You think
She's got a lot of people
think so.
cheering for her. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, well, FireCake kind of has like a little bit of an image as like a bad boy in StarCraft a little. I feel like he's like kind of like the guy filling Hydra's shoes in a certain way, like very strong macro Zerg. Sometimes can be slightly unpleasant to people on the internet who beat him.
He's not half the bad boy Hydra was, though.
That's
Who is?
true.
Does he even have a leather bracket? I mean, do we even know?
No, he does not taste
Well
it.
said,
Not
well said,
yet.
yeah.
So
Well,
I think we're gonna have a much better idea after game 1.
the thing is, Scarlett actually has a leather bracket, so I mean...
That's true. Scarlett's got a leather bracket.
She could be the
It's
next
a
Hydra.
sign.
All right, time to put the money where the mouth is, really. Where are we going with this one, then? Tasteless?
Scarlett.
Okay, that was nice and simple. Dan?
Scarlett 3-1.
FireCake 3-1.
Ooh, it's
I knew
on.
you'd do that. I knew you'd do that.
All right, Todd, you have a little few seconds here to tell me and everyone else why Artosis and Tasteless are completely wrong in their prediction.
Because FireCake is, like I said, he's very good in the late game, and I don't feel like Scarlett will be decisive enough for it to end early. She's gonna try stuff like Mutas, you know, snipe some overlords. FireCake's just gonna laugh. He's gonna be like, I'll just make new ones and make more drones. Go up to the late game, Ultras, Broodlords, you're gonna see it all. And Tasteless is gonna be singing GG at the end of the game because FireCake is gonna be the superior player.
Well, I think that's just
I'll be doing that no matter what,
a
though.
foregone conclusion, man. Dan, are you shooting Todd down here? Where you're going with Todd or Artosis and Tasteless here. Do remember, of course, to join us on Twitter, hashtag WCS and hashtag DHOpen. But it is now time to really start this last series. And we're going to be going, of course, to Tastosis to bring you this one.
the best ones.
The best.
The best. Guys, stop it. All right, guys, we are going to go into game number 1. Hi, Artosis. I haven't really seen you that much today.
No, we've been busy all over the place.
You've just been casting with all sorts of different boys than me.
know.
I mean, what's the deal?
I've been trying out the different flavors of casters here, but I got to tell you what, I like my good old chocolate milk tasteless.
That's right. Thank you. All right, introducing our players. Not really pausing the game.
Yep. That's what we want to do. You see that, of course, by the way, we have our great observer Funka. You can tell by the infinity sign when he's observing, whether it is the end of the game or a pause. But it's been a long day, Tasteless.
It has been, but it's been a good day as well.
Yeah, these games have been really fantastic. Lots of high-level play, going back and forth. Lots of game 5s, and I'm kind of hoping this goes to game 5.
Oh, I hope so. I mean, now that we've gotten through with the rest of the games today, I just want to have a good, close series.
The most important thing to me really is that Todd is wrong at the end of the day. So if we have to go 3-0 for that, that's
really
fine
what
too.
makes me the happiest is when, we just know that Todd is in fact totally wrong.
Yeah. Looks like it is time.
All right.
Tasteless.
Let's do this. In the upper left in the red, it is Scarlett. And the crowd goes wild. And in the bottom left, in the blue, it is FireCake. Cool, man. Let's see what happens in this series. We do have a funny map to start this out on game 1. This map can be pretty volatile.
Yeah.
It's very easy to over-drone and get punished for it.
It certainly is, and we'll see if FireCake does that, because right now we have Scarlett going for the very fast Speedling rush. Not sure yet if she's going to go for a Baneling Nest follow-up or just a lot of lings here, but definitely a good aggressive opening to start the series.
Yeah, going to try to get some amount of control here early on, and I can't say I disagree with the build really at all. We'll have to see how many lings she decides to make and stick with before eventually transitioning into getting a hatchery over here at the expansion.
Well, she does have a couple of drones still in the gas, so definitely could be going into a Baneling Nest just for a few Banelings.
Yeah, very true, actually. Yeah, you're right.
To help out with that. So that's kind of what I expect to see. Yeah, the Baneling Nest is going down, a few lings being sent out, but of course, the Overlords can scout this pretty quickly. And wait a minute, is that double hatchery from FireCake?
Whoa.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah, cool. I've actually seen this before, where you block that little hole with the hatchery. That makes the Zerglings run way around.
Really interesting, interesting play here. Let's see exactly how this is going to work out. This one thing that's kind of cool about this map is because the highway to the other base is so narrow, you can actually cut off circulation pretty easily, even a Zerg with a hatchery there. And obviously he's not going to keep that hatch there because he needs to get back, and that's not going to be a defendable position. But pretty cool opening so far. They just kind of slow down the movement of lings. I don't know how much that helps, though, if they're going to be able to morph Banes and seem to get there at the time when the Banes are done anyways. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. But look at this. A Spine already done, a second Spine halfway done, a couple Queens on the way, a good amount of slow lings, and he's already picked off quite a few of her lings over here. So it looks to me like FireCake has basically almost held this already.
Coming forward now. Looks like the Queen is going to go down. Lings are gathering up. A few more Banelings are being morphed in over here. And it looks like, we could have seen a detonation there, which would have taken out some lings, but it does seem like FireCake then backed up very, very quickly. There looks like he's going to go to the ramp. Nice job penetrating the ramp, getting up in there. And now the Queen is going to go down. Very good play, but a misclick and not actually killing the Queen. A lot of extra damage dished out just there.
Definitely there was. Now we do have about 3 Spines. It's going to be at this natural, so this is getting very, very tough for Scarlett to actually get anything done. Her only real advantage here is Baneling tech and Zergling speed, but with this type of setup, you can't really break that.
Yeah, this is problematic. I mean, whenever you do a dramatic build like what Scarlett's doing, it has to pay for itself. It has to do the damage to balance out the game, ideally getting it to the point where you're in either a small lead or a large lead. But at this point in time, Scarlett is being forced into committing here.
Yeah, this is not a small lead, not a large lead. This is not even a really lead. Close. Yeah, no, she's really kind of behind in every single way here. She actually even has less army supply, 5 less drones, 1 less hatchery. Everything is going wrong right now. Bunch of banelings coming in. Actually gets great connections there onto the Zergling, so that's pretty nice.
All right, as you can see, these Lings have been coming up here and being completely driven back there. I mean, it was a tough little mission that Scarlett had set up for herself there. But yeah, there's just no way to do enough damage for that to pay for itself, especially with the spine crawlers spaced like this.
Yeah.
It's too hard. You have to go attack in too deep and risk taking way too much damage. Also, it's not that easy to get out here either.
No, certainly. Like FireCake, everything about his defense here was really quite fantastic. It's quite impressive indeed to block with the hatchery, get right into the spines. It hasn't looked like he's even broken a sweat trying to stop this.
Okay, you can see that coming up now. Some connections on the drones. 3 drones killed. Was that 3 banelings though that was in there?
Yeah.
Am I seeing that correctly?
Yeah.
All right, so that's not great.
Yeah. She is droning behind this. Like, she's actually got more drones at this point, but...
Yeah, but once these 5 drones hatch, it's not going to be the case anymore, so...
A double hatchery with queens, like, you're just going to have so much more production.
Turns out with 2 hatcheries against 1 Artosis, you can make things twice as fast.
What?
It's called math,
the
guys.
Zerg did not have Chrono Boost Tasteless.
Oh, they don't, but they have something even better. Everything comes from the hatchery.
What?
I hope you guys are taking notes at home.
Everything comes from the hatchery. You mean the spire doesn't pop out mutilus from the top? What does that little hole do?
In fact, contrary to popular belief, they do not. They actually hatch from little eggs.
Wow.
A little bit of a life lesson there for you guys. So this is problematic. Whenever you do a 1-hatch build, you try to be aggressive, and it doesn't quite pay off. You know, the player who has the 2 hatches is going to get that payout in dividends. So we're seeing the rest of the tech coming up here on Roach Warren. Scarlett has scrambled to get a hatchery on the low ground, but this is a bad start for her, and it's going to be pretty tricky for her to engineer a lead from this point on.
Yeah, FireCake just kind of leading in every way by a bit. They're both going into a Roach Warren right now, so similar techs for sure. But, you know, Scarlett's behind on the drones, is going to be behind on the larva just overall. And FireCake already has a defensive setup with 3 spine crawlers and multiple queens. So, like, even if she's even on everything else, he's got this added protection at home.
Yeah, and I do believe we're going to have FireCake actually push out here. We have about 11 roaches just now about to hatch. And is he going to bring the spines with us all the way up? That would be pretty cool. Yes, he is. It's going to be a little bit of backed up traffic there until they can get around into the larger part of that opening. Nice connection with the baneling, but I don't know if that's going to be enough.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Now, let's see what Scarlett can do. She's making a bunch of roaches. She is making some spines, but this is such a smart attack from FireCake with this many queens, 4 transfusions, already having a good number of roaches, and bringing the spines. Like, this is almost too much to deal with.
We got some Ravagers coming out here, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. Now, with the spines getting on the creep, they're going to get much quicker here. Transfuse is going to be very handy on these spine crawlers as this attack engages up here.
Oh, I love that move there from Scarlett. She goes ahead and biles one of those spine crawlers as it's going down, trying to get as much extra damage as possible. There are so many roaches, so many queens here as well, and now the 2 spines dealing damage also.
Now, note that FireCake is actually going to lunge forward here, doing a lot of damage to these roaches at the ramp. I think he actually wants to go for the jugular here and try to get inside the main, and that's going to be it. GG! FireCake easily and decisively takes game number 1.
Really solid play there from FireCake. Great defensive strategies. Great hold there against Scarlett's very aggressive Ling Baneling attack. You know, she might have to mix it up a little bit more than that. It just seems like FireCake's early game is rock solid.
Now, Toes, just let's not forget that is kind of an odd map. And I think that game is not necessarily indicative of what any of the rest of the games should be looking like from here on out. I mean, you can rush on some of the other maps, but that map is exceptionally tough to play on. So let's see what happens in game 2.
Yeah. And as far as FireCake's strategy, that's like kind of like a very clever way that he played, a clever way that he blocked it. So You know, that's something that could have caught her a little bit off guard. Not sure how much she runs into that on the Korean ladder, but...
Yeah, we haven't really seen, at least what I've casted in Korea and what I've watched, I haven't seen that just yet.
Yeah,
so
I've only seen that hatchery block like one time. I think it was a European game. So.
And it's also one of these things where if you haven't experienced it, then you really do need to think on your feet, and that can be pretty tricky because I am certain that FireCake has done that build a lot, and therefore knows pretty much the ins and outs. Yeah, he knew when to cancel the hatchery. So let's see what happens on game number 2. But yeah, definitely taking something from the European meta and really making it work here. And of course, the counterattack due to the short rush distances. You set up the spines over here, they can hit the hatch, and then with the superior number of units, you don't even have to actually use the transfuse on the spines. You can use them on the roaches up here. And this is an execution.
Yeah, Scarlett just did not have enough. So far behind in Larva for so long. So far behind in Queens as well. FireCake really used every possible thing to his advantage to beat her there. So really impressed with his play so far.
Yeah, let's see. Like I said, let's see how the rest of these games pan out. I actually don't know. Do you know where your second map is off the top of your head?
I do, in fact. It looks like it's Invader.
Okay. Well, let's find out where exactly this game's going to go. And in fact, we're already in this game with both of our players here at the bottom. So introducing them in the bottom left in the red, it is Scarlett. And in the bottom right in the blue, our other Zerg player winning game number 1, it's FireCake.
All right. It's a big map, close by air, though.
Yep.
Interested to see how this will go. Wouldn't be surprised if we have a Mutalist game coming up.
Yeah, Mutas can be pretty good on a map like this. Definitely, you have the option to punish, especially in the main, if you can get those Mutas out. Of course, Muta versus Muta can also be quite interesting on a map like this, so we're going to have to see what each of these guys has in store for us here.
I don't know. You know, I think it's going to be pretty standard. I think this is probably going to be one of those games, at least in the early game, where we're like, hey, look at the production tab because everything's the same for now. Because, you know, when you get a map this big, even if you wanted to be aggressive early on, it would be so risky to try because the travel distance will allow your opponent a ton of time to react.
Yeah, that's very true. And ZvZ is kind of funny like that because early on, because you get your overlords out there, although in some of the highest level play, we do see players actually outmaneuver the overlord pathing and stuff like that. But, you know, the fact that you can kind of spy on each other throughout the start of the game means normally there's not a lot of tricks you can pull off here, especially with the pretty reasonably long travel distance by the ground here.
Yeah.
And we do now see both players getting the Ling speed synced up. It looks like Scarlett's, she's just about a second or two ahead in that, but not really too impactful here so far. We're going to keep watching the production tab here and weighing how many drones versus attacking units there will be. A lot of times in spots like this, it ends up being pretty drone heavy on both sides, and they'll go for a third hatch.
Now, one thing to keep in mind while they're both doing this, they're both keeping drones on gas, 2 for Scarlett, 3 for FireCake, so wouldn't be surprised if these guys go into layer rather quickly. I just think in a position like this, sure, you could do some sort of roach attack, but the travel distance is really, really big, so I feel like if a player goes mutas, they might just have an advantage.
Well, you know, let's talk about Muta versus Muta then for just a little bit here, because that's a pretty interesting matchup. It's one of the oldest dilemmas of StarCraft in general, is how to handle that. You know, the Mutas, they deal damage so fast, and with the glaives bouncing, you always want to get that armor upgrade for your Mutas, since that way the glaives of the attacking Mutas deal less damage overall. But if you're in, if it's one player going Muta and the other player not, then we do sometimes see the attack upgrade done so that the harass can be even stronger. There's also a big positional game that's occurring constantly in Muta versus Muta.
Oh, yeah.
If you can, you know, if they send their Mutas out, you do occasionally have the option to send your Mutas into their main and try to take out drones. But there's also this game of angling with the Muta flocks or a murder of Mutas or whatever you call it, where you can actually get in there and start to do damage as they're retreating, and the angle that they're at, they can't get away in time, and that can snowball out of control, and you can die.
And a big part of this as well is going to be Zerglings running around all over the place to try to pull Mutas out of position.
Right,
so, before all that, of course, though, we should have some Zergling scuffles on the map. It's almost just a mistake. If you're not trying, at least, to be like, oh, okay, are you going to make any mistakes? Oh, you're not? Okay, that's fine. Let's keep going on to Mutas.
Yeah, and the mutas at points in time in the game can lose actually. Well, hold up a second. We might have a little bit of an attack here. Bailing's coming down and connecting. And I don't know if this is going to get in there and do that much damage. FireCake's defense looks pretty stellar.
Yeah, he's doing a great job, and his layer is so much quicker than Scarlett's. I'm a little bit worried for her right now. She made a lot of lings, a decent amount of banes, but the layer is super slow.
Yeah, normally I would have expected the layers to be synced up as with the rest of the build, you know, as it's been so far. So this is pretty interesting. Scarlett's basically trying to knock out the third base here with her later muta tech and taking advantage of additional gases and things like that. Maybe try to get a lead that way. But yeah, it's definitely going to be the mutas from FireCake coming out here first.
Yeah, and not just the mutas, but also he can get that upgrade quicker. So she could end up being in a little bit of trouble here if she doesn't get anything done with these lings, but continuing to poke in and out, seeing if anything can be done. It looks like FireCake just has too good of defense, though, with those banelings patrolling back and forth.
Yeah, I gotta say, I definitely like FireCake's build a little bit better, but let's see as time passes what's gonna happen, because Scarlett could end up breaching this by just having a stronger ground army. You wanna sync the attack up as the Spire is continuing to go along. A lot of guys that are going for Mutalisks, they wanna bank up larvae so they can get a lot of Mutalisks to come out at once, and that's usually a good way to punish that with this technique of engaging the ground here.
Right now, we actually do have about a 400-ish gas lead here for FireCake and the quicker Spire. So definitely he's going to be able to get the edge up on that at first. But that doesn't mean that there's no ways to fight back. There definitely are. Like, if Scarlett just continually is running around with Zerglings, trying to get a little bit of damage and keep those mutas busy, she can catch up.
Yep, we have 10 mutas now on the way. Still waiting to see what's going to be happening here from Scarlett. But so far, so good for FireCake. I mean, defense has been very strong. And having this 10 muta lead. And by the way, the Carapace upgrade, the muta armor upgrade coming out here ahead, you know, this is looking very good as far as where the air dominance is going to be leaning towards in this matchup. It's definitely going to be going towards FireCake.
Yeah, you are certainly correct about that, Tasteless. But she is running by right now with these lings, seeing if she can get anything done. Banelings are falling up, so she has to be careful. You can't let those banelings actually connect.
What? There was another queen that wasn't killed there, just like we had in game number 1.
Yeah, a little bit off there for Scarlett. Maybe missing her micro a bit. And it looks like FireCake will basically clean this all up without too much of a trouble.
Too much of a trouble indeed. Yeah, look, in all seriousness, there's a really good spot for FireCake to be in right now. First of all, Overlords are going to be executed on the map before Scarlett can do anything about it. Also, because Scarlett threw away so many lings, there's also the option to hit elsewhere. Now, you got to be careful because when you engage muta versus muta here, even though the mutas came out for FireCake first, you're closer to Scarlett's rallying point. So the lings are going to come in over here at the third base, hitting hard, and it will be necessary for Scarlett's mutas to try to defend this. There'll be a second follow attack somewhere else from FireCake here once those mutas get put out of position.
Yeah, he sees those mutas of Scarlett up at the third, starts to fly his mutas towards Scarlett's main, but doesn't go all the way. By the way, Tasteless, I got to ask your opinion on this. What is Scarlett doing with this +1 muta attack?
I don't know. What do you think about that, actually? I'm a little bit confused.
I don't know, yeah, because here's the thing. Like, it costs 50 gas less.
I was going to say it's slightly cheaper, right? And occasionally, if you're really desperate and you're really tight on gas, you're like, well, I might as well just upgrade something because it's not going to hurt. But
as far as ZvZ goes, if you are never going to actually engage muta versus muta, the attack is better.
Yeah. And you can play
in
ZvZ
muta
like that.
Muta, the armor is like absolutely better. If they fight, the
you guys can test this out. It's like if you want to get with a friend on Battle.net or something, it's comical. The difference is it's not like, well, maybe, you know, the attack might help a little bit more here. No, this has been solved. This was solved over a decade ago.
Yeah.
Okay, back at StarCraft 1. It is clear that Carapace is the better upgrade if mutas are going to fight other mutas.
Well, Scarlett finishes up her +1 attack and does start that Carapace. So, you know, maybe she just wanted something a little bit cheaper to start out there. Or maybe she thought that FireCake would switch into roaches or something. That is something we see some Mutalisk players do. But for the time being, it is Mutalisk versus Mutalisk. So this is kind of like a dare. Like, who actually stops making Mutalisks? Is anyone going to try to get to Vipers or Infestors here?
Yeah, Infestors can be pretty handy because with 1 or 2 good fungals, you're going to win that fight. And it looks like we might have the mutas engaging here. Now, Scarlett would have to retreat in a moment like that, especially in open space like this where there isn't the aid of queens or spores or anything like that.
Well, right now we do see both flocks of mutas flying around the map, and oh, looks like Scarlett backing up a bit. Muta's count looks somewhat similar. It's hard to tell in these flocks exactly how many, and
okay, 31 to 37.
Yeah. Wonderful observer, Funka.
Taking
that
Funka.
Q and bringing it up.
We got a lot of links here from Scarlett. Actually going to be able to take out, it looks like 3 queens, maybe some drones as well. This is going to pull FireCake back.
And that was a nice little ling run by. That's exactly the type of thing you want to do. The lings are not really worth that much to you, so to get 3 queens and 3 drones, very much worthwhile. Now, Scarlett does fly in over here. Looks like she wants to pick off the gas, and that slows
Hey, that was really good. Yeah, really nice play. It might look like a small factor, but in Muta... Oh, hold on. She's got to keep running.
Oh, right on her tail right now is FireCake's mutas. Looks like he does turn around. But right now, Scarlett is going into Infestor Tech, getting those pathogen glands.
This might be the right play here. And of course, if you have that attack upgrade and the mutas are fungal, you're going to actually be able to kill things very quickly if you fly in at the last second. So that may be one angle of approach that we're seeing right here, right now. FireCake is sending some lings over here to the top, hoping to dislodge the muta position here for Scarlett. Let's see how it happens.
Well, it looks like both players who have 1-1 on their mutas. FireCake continuing on that mutalist production definitely has more, so Scarlett has to be very careful indeed. Picking off some of these overlords, and FireCake realizes he should have more mutas right now. Scarlett, oh, she could be in some trouble.
Now, there are queens coming down here. We do have some transfuses. Very nicely done. And those transfuses turned out to be very handy. It's also very tough to call a muta versus muta fight. We actually saw that overall on the map right now, FireCake still had more mutas, but that could be a little bit tricky. It's a lot easier for us, you know, casting this with, you know, vision of everything. We're kind of omnipotent in the game. So it's easy for us to just look at the numbers. But in a situation like that, that can be pretty tricky.
Yeah, his mutas clumped a little bit more there, and we had 2 queens from Scarlett join in. So definitely helped out. Transfusion plus extra queen damage. So anyways, she does hold for the time being, but FireCake is up over 10 mutalisks. He has no infestors though, so that is a big deal for Scarlett, but it doesn't quite equal 10 mutas.
Okay, we have the infestors out now, and it looks like FireCake is eager to engage here. FireCake definitely the initiator at this point in time. By the way, we have the missile attacks melee attacks about to finish up over here. FireCake gonna poke in here, takes out a queen, nicely done and backing out.
Very well done right there. And if I recall correctly, actually, like I think I saw FireCake against like Cats in DreamHack Austin, and FireCake just stays on muta in a situation like this quite often, just continues to upgrade them, continues to make them, because generally they're gonna overpower pretty much everything at this point. But if we see Scarlett get off some fantastic fungals and maybe get up to Vipers, she should be able to kill off this swarm.
Oh, nice. Going to go for the hatchery. That'll cut production here for Scarlett. And it really goes to show you when you have that many mutas and an unlimited number of mutas you can put in a control group. I mean, you can do so much damage so quickly. You could even snipe a hatchery in a matter of seconds.
Looks like FireCake going to chase down Scarlett right now. And that's a huge fungal going down. She just has to chain these infinitely, and we do have the mutas jumping on top of these infestors right now, but Scarlett continues to try to throw down these fungals. They're getting so low, and oh my god, bam! Down so many go. Huge move by Scarlett.
Okay, so hold up. The muta count is now 33 to 12 with Scarlett in the lead.
That's huge.
That's like an insurmountable lead, guys. That's really, really tough to come back from, especially since FireCake committed to just going muta.
Yeah.
Kind of a more old school approach to muta versus muta.
This was kind of what I was talking about before, is that FireCake loves to macro, and sometimes he gets just a little bit stubborn. Like, he's just like, okay, no, just pure mutas here. But Scarlett had like 8 infestors, was able to fungal them down. She lost the infestors, but she won the war.
Yes, as they say. Now it looks like Scarlett's going to seize on the opportunity, headed right now eastbound over here. And this is going to be a problem because I don't know if FireCake can keep an expansion alive.
Gonna be pretty tough indeed, pulling these mutas all the way back home. More mutas still being hatched. We do have some Vipers coming up for Scarlett as well. A bunch of lings going up to hit FireCake's 4th base.
Yeah, and these Lings are doing a fantastic job. Looks like way too many of them right now. We have some more Lings here from FireCake coming up to try to deny this, but already, 21 drones were picked off there, and even one of the extractors taken out as well with a melee attack +2 now. Just finishing up. It also looks like FireCake is headed over here to the bottom to try to hit with his own mutas, but Scarlett is in pursuit.
Those mutas finding his very quickly. Looks like the Vipers are coming into play. A couple Infestors as well. Now, Parasitic Bomb and Fungal Growth together are just devastating to Mutalisk. So if she gets those spells off successfully during a battle, she should be able to close the game.
Much easier said than done, man. You can misclick that, and this is one of these matchups where it is sometimes just 1 or 2 clicks away, and one player does end up crushing the other. But I would definitely say Scarlett's in very good shape this game in pretty much every sense.
Certainly the case, and FireCake running around still, getting very close in that Mutalisk count, and in fact does have an additional carapace upgrade, so definitely a big deal with that. But Scarlett definitely should be the favorite here.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that, Artosis. This has turned out to be a pretty interesting game. Now, there is a lot of expansions here for FireCake that seem to have gotten pretty much untouched. They're pretty much safe over here. So let's see if Scarlett can actually manage to get in over there. There is also Flyer Attack level 2 about to finish here for the mutas of Scarlett.
Yes, indeed. Just starting now for FireCake, who continues onward with these Mutalisks. He's almost caught up in number, but Parasitic Bomb, man, that is a scary spell to be using against a huge clump of mutas.
Okay, it looks like they could be in position here. We're seeing them start to rotate around each other as actually the Muta fleet right now of FireCake has actually passed over into the territory. It is possible if Scarlett angles this right to trap these and then force a fight.
Yeah, looks like she does back up, comes near her Infestors and Vipers as well. Sends some Lings across the map. Let's not forget these Lings are fantastically upgraded at 2-1 with Adrenal Gland, so they can take down a base in a matter of seconds, as we see there.
Muta's now backing up, and I think right now Scarlett's doing a great job of keeping the Mutas here of FireCake busy over here in the corner. And do we have any more upgrades actually on the FireCake Mutas? I was not watching for that.
Yeah, he is going to actually end up having 2-2 pretty soon here. So it does have that +2 attack on the way. +2 carapace just started for Scarlett. So her Mutas are just not as good, but she's got spell support, whereas FireCake does not.
Yeah, I mean, there's much more muscle with the Mutas of FireCake, but if you have good finesse coming from Scarlett's position, you can definitely still win. And I think FireCake is actually looking to force an initiation. Now, right now, supply is 190 to 145 with Scarlett in a pretty convincing lead.
A Fungal does go down on those Mutas, but all of those are picked off. We do have the Vipers coming in right now. This could be crazy.
And it looks like we are going to have a forced engage. If Scarlett keeps angling this right, there's really no way for FireCake to run away without taking huge losses. And the Parasitic Bombs go down.
Those Parasitic Bombs absolutely gigantic here. Look at all that splash damage onto his Mutas. And it looks like he gets away.
I wonder if Scarlett should have actually full-on initiated after that. Those Mutas are so low on HP.
She should have chased
I think she should have just
to the earth.
Yeah, to the very corner of the map. Those Mutas have to fly into another map in another tournament somewhere if they're going to escape that. So nicely done. Also, Scarlett doing a great job sending the Lings everywhere on the map. We don't really see, oh my God, it's actually 46 kills right now on these drones. So really, FireCake's economy in shambles right now, Artosis.
Yeah, he is falling apart at this point. Those Zerglings have Adrenal upgrades, +3 attack, +2 carapace. They're crazy. Those are one-Ling armies, but there's a bunch of them, so it's like super armies of Lings.
Yeah, and I think we're actually going to see the forced engage here from Scarlett. Scarlett was pretty conservative through most of this. We have Overlords now being wiped out and literally supply blocking FireCake. FireCake is going to try to do the reversal here, and this is probably the best play for him, is to try to come in here and start taking out all of the workers and bases and hopefully bait Scarlett back. It's going to be a tough escape, though, but he's going to try to do as much damage as he possibly can and try to balance out this game, ideally even sniping hatches if he can. But at the same time, Scarlett is doing this with Lings, and there's really just not much to defend here. Since Scarlett had such a massive economic boost, there just wasn't much to do. Overlord Massacre over here. here.
Yeah, seriously it is. But right now, FireCake is behind in mutas, and there's
Oh
parasitic
my
bombs.
God.
This is not going to go well for FireCake. He is going to be wrecked here.
Yep, FireCake on the run. But I think, yep, that's going to be it. GG. Scarlett wins game number 2. Putting this series tied up at 1-1.
Yeah, very well played by Scarlett there. She went very much later into the Mutalisks, but fought back through great Ling harassment and teching up a little bit, realizing, okay, you know what, FireCake is going to out-macro me on the Mutas, so I'll get some spells to help support. And that chain of fungals is what really turned the game into something she could win.
Okay, it's been evened out. I've got to say, I like that both players had very different approaches to that game, but I think Scarlett's actually panned out into a much healthier endgame if you look at it overall.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. Showing that she can, in fact, go toe-to-toe with FireCake in the late game, in a macro game. His macro was fantastic. He made tons of mutas. Even when he went down to 12 mutas, he caught back up.
Yeah, well, it's funny. In muta versus muta, even if they have way more mutas than you, what you can do is look for where their mutas are when they try to engage you. You have to, like, do it perfectly, but try to go through all of their bases, hit all the drones, and then fork your mutas back out and try to get back home, losing as little as possible. So, yeah, FireCake definitely somebody who's familiar with that situation, but, you know, Scarlett already in the lead just knew how to keep it.
Yeah. The Zerglings made such a big difference here as well. She spent a lot of money on Zergling upgrades to make sure that, like, you just could not defend with Zerglings. Your mutas had to go back because these Zerglings were so heavily upgraded, whereas FireCake just didn't really have upgrades on his Zerglings. So very strong, very smart plays in every way out of Scarlett.
If you look at the angling of the mutas back there, you could see that there's no way for FireCake to make a direct run to his side of the base, which allows the mutas of Scarlett to get a good engage. And that's pretty much how mutas clean up other huge groups of mutas, is you just get in there and the glaives start to take over.
Yeah, they certainly do. So these two seeming pretty evenly matched so far, tied up 1-1, our last series of the night. And in fact, I think the other series already finished up. So.
Yep, it's just us left over right now in this final match for tonight. And of course, we're going to be back here tomorrow all day, bringing you the rest of DreamHack here.
Yeah, indeed. And the day after that, bringing you even the rest of DreamHack.
In the bottom left, in the red, she is Scarlett. In the upper right, in the blue, he is FireCake.
Alrighty. Looks like Scarlett is once again going for a very aggressive strategy here on Dusk Towers.
Yeah, this is interesting. How do you feel about this?
I like it. You know, there's not going to be some sort of hatch block that can slow her down.
That's actually very true. I think a lot of that loss we really do have to attribute to the hatch block.
And I mean, this is something that even a Protoss player could go and hide the Lings around the Overlords. Like everyone's played this map so many times. It's not hard to hide where you're running your Lings around. So I think it's a pretty good choice overall. And it looks like she's actually taken 2 of the drones off. Okay, she's putting some more back on, so maybe she will go Banelings as well.
Yeah, and hopefully for Scarlett's sake, this actually works out a little bit better, because as we saw in game number 1, if you are not successful by a lot when you do an attack like this, it's very hard to recover. Now, if let's say the attack didn't work, I don't think Scarlett would necessarily lose in the exact same manner, because our first map we had on here was Urina. But still, she's going to have to be pretty careful and definitely dish out a lot of damage here.
Well, definitely a different strategy coming out of FireCake. He's expanded to the front first, then just a pool with no gases, and then the back. So it's a very fast 3-base from FireCake with the harder to defend expansion taken first. So definitely Scarlett has potential to deal some critical damage coming up.
Yeah, this actually is looking, at least so far, so good here for Scarlett. I mean, the fact that Scarlett got her gas out so quickly means Link speed is going to be really prioritized as a strong play for quite a while in the early game. And that's tough. I mean, especially if you have 2 players with even control, the one with speed Links basically always wins.
Well, a lot of Zerglings being made right now. She does send a couple out at a very normal time there to try to trick FireCake a little bit more. But he is making a spine. He is getting some queens, but still droning. So that means he doesn't know that this is coming, and this could be deadly.
Here come the Lings now. The drones have been pulled immediately to the spine crawler. The Lings go. I don't even know if the spine crawler is going to get a single hit off, and it goes down. Nicely done there by Scarlett. The Lings now come up. 2 banelings being morphed, and now an attack at the ramp.
Yeah, trying to take out these drones. Good hold position there by FireCake, trying to hold as best as he can. The Queen looks like it's going to fall as well. She does get up, surrounds his other Queen also. This is a huge move from Scarlett.
Also being able to take out these drones is going to be very handy. Here come the banelings now.
Oh, busting through this ramp. This is really bad news for FireCake. He's trying to hold. He's making as many Zerglings as he can, getting a Baneling nest also, but Scarlett has the advantage with this Baneling.
Yep, this one Baneling over here is going to be a bit of a nuisance. Link's coming up now. He tries to get as many drones as he can, backs up. And Scarlett now coming down here. She's going to try to hit these Lings as they're coming out of the hatchery. And this is putting FireCake in a tough spot. Also note, Lings and Banelings are still being produced. So Scarlett, she is not stopping.
No, she certainly is not. She's going to stay on this, but Banelings are popping out now for FireCake, so that's a big deal. The advantage of Scarlett here is Zergling speed. She has to out-micro FireCake, and if she doesn't, he could have an advantage after all is said and done.
FireCake has to be able to pick up the Banelings before they can properly connect. Here come 2 Banelings right now into the mineral patch, taking out a good amount of drones.
Oh, indeed. Oh. And look at that, 9 drones going down. FireCake down to just 8 drones against the 15 of Scarlett. She is definitely gaining a big advantage here.
The Ling's now going to go ahead and back out. It does look like Scarlett is still making Lings, so she actually wants to put on the killing blows coming up here. Meanwhile, a hatchery for Scarlett started up back at home.
You know, this is still tough because if she doesn't do a bit more damage, there are 3 hatcheries, so FireCake can replace everything, even though he only has 8 drones at the moment. So yeah, Scarlett's still trying to get a little bit more damage done.
Scarlett needs to do enough critical damage to the drones that it's so stifled as you try to reproduce them. Oh, good exchanges right there, and another Baneling is going to go down, and I'm wondering if this is the end of Scarlett's aggression.
You know, she's still making Lings, so I guess not. But FireCake, he's pumping out as many Lings and Banes as he can. The thing is, if Scarlett can keep FireCake making Lings and Banes, then he can't really afford drones. You know, he's just at 10 drones right now. So her economy is actually better. It's just her production is a bit weaker at the moment.
It's really going to be down to how these Banelings can come in here, where they're going to connect, and how much damage they do. The Lings right now running around. He's checking, okay, where are the drones? Where are the drones? They're not here. They can only be in one other place.
All right, right now we do have these Banelings trying to come in. Good detonation there,
really
getting
good.
3 for 2. Banelings coming in. Oh, man, this is getting tougher and tougher right now for FireCake.
And it looks like we're going to have another good Baneling connection right up here. Actually, Scarlett even being conservative there. GG. Scarlett takes game number 3.
That's right. 2-1 lead right now for Scarlett. She just needs one more win to go on to that coveted round of 16, whereas the last French player, it's getting tough, man. It's down to the wire for him.
All right. Definitely FireCake a bit salty after losing to that rush.
Yeah.
FireCake is no longer allowed to make any mistakes. If Scarlett wins one more game, this series is over.
This is it's a tough spot he's put in. You know, there's a lot of pressure. He's playing here, you know, in France, in front of the, you know, he has a home field advantage, I guess is the way you could put it. And the thing is, one thing I do want to bring up, though, is that both of them should be jet-lagged here. Scarlett has come over from Korea.
That's true.
And FireCake has come over from DreamHack Austin. So this isn't, he isn't one of the players that just kind of skipped it and is just completely rested or anything. So these guys, they're on, like, equal footing in a way.
Yeah, certainly. And that is something to factor in, because especially when you have like a ton of games you got to play at a day, that can be very wearing, you know, on some of these players, you know, on different time zones and stuff like that. So we'll have to see what happens in this next game. I'm wondering if Scarlett is going to go ahead and try to use that same kind of aggressive style once again, because she definitely had very good control of the Banelings and the Speedlings. Or perhaps we'll actually just do a more conservative play in the hopes that FireCake is going to be on the defense ready for an attack like that the next game.
I'm not exactly sure which map is next. I think that might have something to do with it. FireCake has been kind of like greedy in his openings in a way, so I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to get maybe a little bit aggressive in the next game, mix it up a little bit, and catch Scarlett off guard.
Now, this was a great opening here. For going for the spine, it did not even get a single hit off. It wasn't canceled either, so that was a pretty big blow. Now, the drone positioning here by FireCake was not bad at all, but all you have to do is crack open this entrance enough, and the Lings will slip right through. Like we're seeing right over here. And, of course, the Banelings are going to come in and do the heavy-duty demolition damage and really allow you to close this out.
Yeah, it was a very good bust there, and very good connections onto the drones. That was very important to reduce FireCake's drone count so that he couldn't utilize all the larvae he had at 3 hatches. If he could, there wouldn't have been any way for Scarlett to actually break through at the end.
And it's important to note, guys, that you know what FireCake is trying to do there is get 1 or 2 of his lings to come in and assassinate Scarlett's banelings before the banelings can connect with the drones. And that is way hard to do, especially at the highest levels, as there's so many quick little mind games and micro tricks you can use to try to outmaneuver your opponent.
It's StarCraft, a family-friendly game.
That's
here,
right.
as we see. But yeah, FireCake, man, on the ropes. Yeah, the last French player left.
Yeah. And I think we're going to go right into this game, Artosis.
Does look like it.
All right, down here in the bottom left with a quick pull, it is Scarlett. And in the bottom right in the blue, he is FireCake. A cake of fire, Artosis.
A cake of fire. All right, so this is kind of interesting. Scarlett has once again gone for an early spawning pool, but without gas. So it's just going to be slow Zerglings going across the map.
Yeah, this is pretty meta, man, because you know she's been aggressive, but in a much more dramatic way. So she's going to scale it back this time around, perhaps in the hopes that FireCake will overcompensate for the initial glimpse of the rush.
Oh, and look at this, a spine crawler rush coming up. FireCake has not scouted this yet. He does not know. There we go.
He sees
the
it.
drone sees it. Will he pull drones up to try to kill this?
Okay, but he actually pulled him back just a few seconds later than would have been ideal, and the drones have been pulled. Oh, sick!
Scarlett's going for the throat right now. A very decisive play here with these drones, with the Zerglings as well. This is a sick all-in rush.
And it looks like, once again, Scarlett going to try to dive in and make one more spine, or at least keep these drones chasing him.
All right, another spine is going up. The drones coming in to help fight as well. Scarlett has quite a big force here. Multiple spines going up.
Note this is by the spawning pool, so if the spawning pool is taken out, the game is going to end. And here it is, the Lings and drones engaging. The drones of FireCake, but backing up at the last second.
Oh man, this is like a cannon rush, but in a ZvZ. The drones can't even get enough surface area to stop all these spines right now. Scarlett coming in with her own drones as well to deal some extra damage.
One is canceled at the last second. The drones, again, though, not minding, unable to make more drones of his own right now.
Oh, this is kind of brutal. It looks, tastes like FireCake has held, and GG!
Damn, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was
crazy.
One.
I was watching that, I'm like, is this the thing, and is it going to work?
I haven't really seen anything like that in a really long time. So Scarlett with a very ballsy strategy right there.
That was pretty crazy, man.
Through.
Yeah, there's really not that much to say about that game back there, because it's pretty straightforward. If you get the spines up in the right position and they don't control their drones correctly, because of the location of the spawning pool there for where FireCake had set that up, the spines are just eventually going to kill the spawning pool, and that's it. That's the game.
Yeah, I mean, you just kill the hatchery and you have the advantage there. But that was kind of a crazy one.
Look at this.
Good on FireCake for defending that, but we're going to that game 5.
I think Scarlett, maybe, I'm not an expert on this rush, but I think that actually she spent too much time with her drones and the Lings fighting in the middle.
Yes.
I think she should have backed up, and it would have been a tricky back and forth of targeting the spines versus targeting the attacking units from Scarlett. And even though that only comes down to a few added seconds on, that's all you really need.
Yeah, Tasteless, you're exactly correct. When she actually sat and fought against all the drones for a moment, thing is, he has a lot of drones, and they don't do as much damage as a Zergling, let's say. The Zerglings attack quicker, but they have good health. They're dealing the damage. That was a tough one.
In the upper left, in the red, it is Scarlett! Did our mic pick that up? Did that sound Apollo made in the background?
He really gets into it.
And in the bottom right, in the blue, it is FireCake!
Oh, wait, no, that's a
All right. FireCake going for a hatchery at the expansion, and it looks like mirrored builds right now with Scarlett going for a hatchery of her own.
By the way, I do gotta say, I feel like the your intros here at the end of the night, you're doing like a Dragon Ball Z head-to-head fight against the French commentators. Tasteless, who has the most
It's going
hype.
down, man. This is like the closest thing to a rap battle I've ever experienced.
Well, here we are, mirror builds on Frozen Temple, the final map.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it all comes down to this game. This has, by the way, been an incredibly fast series.
Yeah, definitely a lot of aggressive openings.
Yeah.
All from Scarlett, but that's fine. You know, if she wants to play aggressively against the kind of macro god Zerg here, FireCake, you can't really blame her.
Yeah, I do think she's going to have to dial it back, though, in this series.
Yeah.
I think if she did another aggressive build like that, FireCake would most certainly take the lead.
Well,
she's definitely making the proper adjustments.
She did win the one really big macro game as well, let's not forget.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, on Invader,
that's actually,
so.
I was about to get to that because the macro game with the Mutatech actually went so well that it's like, well, I think you could win this.
I like this.
Oh, wait, I actually just did a double take. I confused myself. I'm like, wait a minute.
Is she doing that
Is that
again?
another spine crawler rush? Yeah, I just threw myself off there.
This is, okay, he actually does end up canceling it, but that was FireCake being conditioned. That was like a Pavlov's spine crawler right there. You know, she's rushed him so many times.
Look at you, Psychology 101.
Yeah, look
wow.
at me, man, yeah. She's kind of like conditioning him to be like, okay, there definitely could be a rush on the way, so let's start a spine crawler. You know, it doesn't cost him too much to do it. I like that he does it.
It's like a very tiny delay.
Yeah.
And so we now have the third hatchery coming down here. Scarlett with just slightly superior Ling micro is going to be driving back FireCake to where the protection of the queen is.
Well, gonna go all the way back there. Both players taking their third bases rather quickly. Of course, Scarlett's a little bit faster because FireCake is kind of on the defensive back foot. So a tiny advantage here for Scarlett, but not enough to really change the outcome of the game.
Okay, Baneling's Nest on the way here for both parties as our game continues up into what looks like it should be a more traditional ZvZ.
Yeah.
Not, you know, a big boxing match to start the game off.
Yeah, it definitely is what it is kind of gearing up into. And we'll see if they want to go into roaches, they want to go into mutalisks here. Probably we'll have like a little bit of zerglings, maybe a couple banelings running around, but so far their micro has been pretty even.
Yep, we have banelings being made way back here, closer to the main. This is really more for defensive purposes, since if you wanted to be aggressive with the banelings, you'd probably want to morph them in closer to where the, you know, your opponent is. And so, yeah, both of them going for defensive banes. We do have a dozen lings, though, on the way right now for Scarlett, whereas it looks to be all about the drones here for FireCake.
Well, that could give her a little bit of an advantage, but banelings can change that in a heartbeat.
Oh, for sure. You especially want to time them out to hit at the ramps where they can't see until right when they get the vision up there.
More lings coming down right now for Scarlett, and Roach Horn for both players on the way. Nice around there, and Scarlett's ling count doing some real work, actually. A couple banelings are about to morph here for FireCake.
The problem is the banelings of Scarlett's are bruised, so it's going to be very easy to pick that off.
Certainly it is. That's why we have 3 queens there from FireCake up in the front. And, well, here she goes. She does actually detonate those banelings, and that allows her superior zergling count to get in, do a little bit of damage to these drones.
Yeah, she's actually got in there. She's doing a good amount of damage. More lings coming down. Not the best angle initially for FireCake, but FireCake does eventually drive Scarlett back.
Yeah, right now, Scarlett does have a 4-drone lead. Both of them making roaches at the moment. A few more up for Scarlett. So it looks like she might have a little bit of an edge after all that harassment.
Yeah, it was a great amount, a little bit of extra damage there. I really like what she did. She did not overdo it either, which is good, because there's also the chance that FireCake overmakes lings when the action actually picks up. And there's going to be a phase 2 here, Artosis. We got roaches and banelings, and it looks almost like they're going to end up engaging each other in the middle of the map, which I think is not what FireCake should want to do here. I think he actually should want to back up.
Yeah, right now, Scarlett's roaches actually force the banelings to stop morphing there. And,
now, here's what you want to do. You want to get the lings in front of the roaches, so that you can actually take them out before they get back home to the safety of the base.
Yeah, really nice micro there by Scarlett, trying to block some of those roaches. Does get a few extra hits, but she's going to turn around for the time being. Both sides going for their layers. So wouldn't be surprised just to see roach speed starting up right away.
Okay. Again, Scarlett being, again, a bit more conservative here. She's not overextending. But we could have a possible attack coming up here. We see the Overlords being targeted here.
All the money of FireCake is going to have to go into roaches anyways.
Yeah, I think there's a chance Scarlett could end up busting the defenses of FireCake. FireCake has to walk a very fine line of getting the tech out that he needs.
Scarlett with the +1 missile attacks as well, whereas FireCake, I don't think he actually has an evolution chamber. That's why he's going to go into a Spire here, but Scarlett already has a rather large army, and if she presses forward, all the money of FireCake is going to have to go into roaches anyways.
Yeah, I think there's a chance Scarlett could end up busting the defenses of FireCake. FireCake has to walk a very fine line of getting the tech out that he needs while still being able to survive at that, that teching process without Scarlett just bludgeoning him.
All right, well, she's over here trying to do a little bit of harassment. That doesn't really do anything right there.
Well,
but,
now the spine's at half health, Artosis.
Yeah.
This is a big game changer.
That was a big moral victory for Scarlett.
Big morale boost there for those Zerg units.
Yeah.
So, as you can see, once again, trying to time that out so she can actually connect and take out that Overlord, but good control there by FireCake. We do have the Hydralisk Den on the way here as we're starting to see the tech here go in two very different directions.
Yes, indeed. FireCake going to be getting out mutas to try to control the map a little bit and do some harassment, whereas Scarlett is going for the Death Ball composition. Roach, Ravager, Hydra. She will win any heads-up engagements, but the mutas can outrun all of this. The mutas are super, super mobile, so he might be able to get some damage done to Scarlett and take a lead.
Yeah, absolutely. That could be the case. We got with the 10 mutas coming out here. And by the way, remember what we were talking about in Muta versus Muta, you want to get the carapace, but if it's just one person getting Muta, you normally want to get the attack.
Yeah.
So you can just deal more damage and harass a little bit more effectively. And that's what we're going to see here from FireCake.
Yeah, notice Baneling speed as well. When FireCake goes Muta, he stays Muta, and he will only have Lings and Banes most likely throughout this game to help him out. So if those Banes connect with the Hydras, his Mutas could actually clean up absolutely everything.
And with the Hydras here, the Mutas got to be very careful because Hydras can gun down Mutas quite quickly. Oh, nice player by FireCake. A forced cancel and then an escape, although the drone still lives.
In the meantime, FireCake is taking his own fourth base. He does have a little bit of map control, but Scarlett's decided that she is only going to attack here, and this could do a lot of damage.
Yeah, well, especially with all this morphine right here in the middle. This is prime real estate for those corrosive biles.
Just fantastically done there, dealing a lot of damage to FireCake's morphing army. Scarlett moves down into the third base, dealing a lot of damage to these drones as well.
And as you can see, it's a bad position here for FireCake. FireCake has now been cut off from trying to help reinforce, anything that's going to help defend these bases. The Hydras and the Roaches now coming down. I think that Scarlett might be able to take this game 188 supply to 76.
Yeah, it is really looking like Scarlett should be able to beat down FireCake, the last Frenchman left in this tournament, with some fantastic attacks here.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it. All the critical tech right here is going to be destroyed very easily. Here goes the Spire going down right now. There's absolutely nothing FireCake can do.
No, there certainly is not. His last building's going to start to get picked off. Right now, FireCake is making a few more mutas, but will that actually be enough? His buildings are dying so quickly. His drones are dying so quickly. He's got almost nothing left.
Yep, looks like we have the final battle coming up here right now. Mutas and Roaches coming here to try to help defend, but the reinforcements from Scarlett do manage to get there in time. GG! Scarlett is the winner for the final match of tonight's DreamHack.
That's
and
right.
And Todd is wrong.
And Todd is wrong.
And Todd is wrong.
Yes. Scarlett with some great play here tonight, winning 3-2 over FireCake, eliminating the last Frenchman from the tournament. And she does go on. It's great to see. She's really in top form right now.
Yeah, that was a really good series. You know, she has all the different approaches you need for a ZvZ. She has the ability to do the rushes, and not just one, but a lot of different kinds. But also to play late game. She won in Muta versus Muta with more developed tech, and then she won where FireCake committed to Muta, and instead she went for the ground game with Roach Ravager and made it work.
Yeah, it was really smart, I thought. I really felt like that was the best way to approach it because they already had sizable armies. So to try to get up into mutas right there, you're just neglecting this set of units you already have.
I mean, it's very exciting to see her advance. She did spend, it was 2 months in Korea so far, right?
Yeah, something
2
like
months.
that,
yeah. That can pay off. Koreans are quite good, but enough about us talking. Smix, how is Scarlett feeling?
Well, I'm about to find out, Tasteless. Scarlett, you move on to the top 16 here at the Spring Championships, and despite that, when the camera panned over to you in the booth, you looked rather glum.
Well, I advanced, which is nice. I've been losing like really early in a lot of tournaments, so it's nice to actually not do that for once, but I still feel like I did not play as near as good as I do in practice. So I was a bit frustrated with that after the game, even though I won. That's why I didn't look too happy.
Well, despite that, I know it was a ZvZ, and when I've talked to you in the past, I know that you have expressed that it's not your favorite matchup. Despite that, you did show a variety of different styles. So what was your game plan headed into this matchup against FireCake?
Gee.
We are in France. We are in France.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to play a little bit aggressive. I have to play Nurture next, so I don't want him to know everything I do in macro games. Also, I haven't played all the maps too many times, especially because I had SSL and GSL this week, so I wasn't playing ladder as much. But yeah, lots of cheese.
Wait. So I just have to clarify something here. So you were saying that you have to play Nurture next, so you don't want to show me your macro strategies. Does that mean you were confident that you could defeat FireCake without going that far?
Yeah, I was pretty confident the game build on Runes of Endian would work. I think I really messed up my micro with the drones and lings. But I'm definitely confident in cheese, especially ZvZ. It's really good either way.
Well, I know that you said that you have Nurture coming up. Obviously, one of the best European Zergs at the moment, so commiserations to FireCake. Great sportsmanship. But of course, as I mentioned, this crowd is absolutely fantastic.
I can hear you
I was just saying, Nurture is obviously a very, very talented player. Headed into that matchup, I know you said you don't want to, you've been hiding your macro-oriented strategies, so I know you can't reveal what those are going to look like, but are you going to be studying his VODs at all, or do you already have a game plan as to what you're going to do?
I don't really have too much of a game plan. I'll definitely be watching those tonight and tomorrow morning before my match. So, but yeah, for now I'm not exactly sure what to do, but probably a bit less cheese than this.
All right, but to wrap up the day, I know that it's been a really long day, but these guys in the crowd have been absolutely amazing, and I think they deserve to hear something. So please, a word for the fans that are in the crowd as well as the fans that are watching online.
Thanks everyone for cheering so loudly. Even when I just walked on stage earlier, there was no stream or anything. They all cheered when they saw me, which was really nice. I'm sorry I had to knock out the last French player, but I'm happy that you guys still cheered for me and him either way. So thank you guys.
Well, congratulations again, Scarlett, on moving on to the top 16. Of course, that means day one of the Spring Championship is over. Let's head back to the desk with Apollo and just have a wrap up for our day.
I guess so. We're not going to answer the French crowd, so it's fine to say that. Yeah. A great day of StarCraft action. We all had a lot of fun. Lots of games today. 8 best of 5s on this stream, 8 best of 5s on the other one.
That's right.
Tasteless, you've been on fire today.
Thank you so much, Apollo.
More than the players.
The real MVP.
Wow, guys.
Indeed,
Thanks,
indeed.
guys. You flatter
Tasteless,
me.
you are the best.
Well, shucks, guys. Thank you so much.
Good, happy to have you in France, Tasteless.
It's good to be here, guys. It's good to be here.
We just continue.
Saving esports one day at a time.
It's welcome back to the homeland. Like this.
It's good to be back, man. This is
Great
where I
job,
belong.
Tasteless. Hope you do the same.
Tasteless, I love your beard, Tasteless. And also, you wore the best shirt today.
I did.
And I
got
love
this
your
tie.
pineapple tie.
The tie matches the wristband. Look at that.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Let's check in with the bracket one last time as we finally have our 16 players that have made it to day 2. It's been a rough day 1 for all these players traveling from all around the world, from Austin, from Korea, from China. They are finally now settled in and will have a good night's rest ready for the action in the the round of 16 and the quarterfinals tomorrow. So
Where did he go?
It's gone. It's
gone.
vanished into the swimming pool of DreamHack.
Yeah.
That was there. So lots of awesome games coming tomorrow. I can't help but feel excited for Hydra versus Neeb, the rematch from so many rematches because they played so many times now.
The rematch from last week. Will it be different? Neeb said it will be.
The finals from last DreamHack happens in the round of 16 here. It kind of makes you wonder.
That's
like,
how much
who made
better
the
this
seeding?
is.
What does that mean for the quarterfinals?
Wait till the actual finals. Just be like Hydra 4-0ing someone. I'm like, oh no.
Tasteless just day 9. Highlights from today. What are your highlights, Artosis?
Oh geez. I mean, if the bracket was up, I could definitely tell you.
What about the game 6 between Porth?
I didn't get to see that. I was casting.
I was
over
casting
there,
that.
but,
That was amazing. That was possibly the best series I've ever cast.
I thought the first series was really okay. Here's the series.
Here we go.
Yeah.
No,
see here.
if I could just jump in here, I thought Pult against Strange was just phenomenal. Anybody should check that out. I mean, it starts out with some crazy all-ends, but I mean, these games at the end and that tie was insane.
Yeah, I heard that was pretty sick.
By the way,
By the way, I want to point out, like, Bliver's champ, just as a little shout out. Like, I did that on the B stream, and it was a 3-0, very one-sided. But, like, very impressed with the strategies Champ brought to defeat Bly.
and even more so like than that, Europe usually does pretty well in these tournaments, believe it or not. Austin, the finals, a Korean against an American player. Only 6 Europeans here in the top 16.
Wow.
And a lot of North American or players and a couple Koreans as well.
Yeah,
That's
North
the 3 of them.
America is rallying, man. They're taking it back.
Some big
2
names
Canadians
eliminated.
it is, I think.
Yeah.
Some big names eliminated too. Snoot's gone, Lobo's gone.
Very interesting
T-Drug
stuff.
is
A lot of
gone.
unexpected results today.
FireCake is gone.
Karsten.
Are there any
all
French
of them.
players?
All of them.
They're all gone. I don't know. 16 players are left, guys. Lots of fun here. I hope you've all enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it at home as well. But we are done now officially for day 1. A big thank you to the sponsors, of course, Zowie, Razer, G2A, Monster Energy, and of course, Alienware. We will be back tomorrow for 8 more best of 5s, all of the round of 16, all of the round of 8. We'll see you tomorrow.